Welcome back. My name is Frankie, and this is Frankie Talks Too Much, where we talk about everything on my brain, overthinking, and pop culture. Today I am recording at the bright time of 7 a.m., which might not be super early for a lot of you, but for me, it's early. The nice thing for me is that I know that my kids are not going to wake up until 8 a.m., so I have until 8 to record this podcast today because they're at home for summer with me the rest of the summer. I am going to have to record this early unless I can get a babysitter or some time for them to actually leave the house while I'm at home, but that might be difficult. And we are going on a 2-week trip here soon, so recording will also probably be difficult. I'll probably find a way to either record in the car or find some time where I can have 30 minutes of just silence so that way I can record. Well, anyway, today is Monday. We are still in the month of July. It's been an interesting week for me, and I just wanted to start by July 11th is one of my first cousin's birthdays, and he passed away at 24. This was a couple years ago, but July 11th, 7/11, was his birthday, and it's just sad but also happy to know that, like, I'll always remember his birthday. I'm sad because obviously I miss my cousin, but with grief, things always come back with each day, like their birthday or the day that they died. And so, yes, July 11th is a pretty important day in our family's lives, and I almost forgot about it. It was the same day as my sister's wedding party. It was like an after wedding party. So it was interesting to see my cousin's mom there. She's also my cousin. So I guess he's technically my first cousin once removed, or however that goes. I know a lot of people don't really care about the semantics there. But yeah, July 11th, that is a big day, but also kind of a sad day. But I just love my cousin that passed. Also this week, I did solid core. I did a second one of my sister's classes, and that was so tough. I was in less pain than the first time I took solid core, but still in pain nonetheless. That was hard to say the least. My core, I think, was just giving out halfway through the exercise. Like, I think my abs were just so tired that I was putting so much strain into my back because I couldn't brace my core anymore because of exhaustion. And so, yeah, maybe solid core is not for me because the risk for injury is just so much higher. And then we went to see a movie the next day. No, it was the same day. And my upper back was in so much pain, like so much like squeezing pain that I had to sleep on a heating pad the rest of the night. Like, solid core shouldn't give me such like pain, but it did. So I think I'm done doing solid core. My sister will probably laugh, but that's just not my form of exercise that I like. I don't love Pilates either. I just really like yoga and weightlifting and cardio. Just the very, very basic needs to survive. Speaking of surviving, I think I got the parasite. You know, the parasite that everyone's been talking about, that everyone has, that's giving everybody like stomach issues and all sorts of things. You could probably look it up. I don't even remember what it's called, but I think I got the parasite. And I think I got it on Monday of last week because all week I've had stomach issues so bad. Dante had stomach issues yesterday, Sunday, and that, I don't think it was related, but yes, I have had the worst stomach issues all week. It's finally starting to clear up, but yesterday was kind of a crazy day with Dante being sick. Me and Carla still went to church, my daughter, and we still had to go to a wedding. We were supposed to translate a wedding into Portuguese after church yesterday, and so even though we were sick, Dante still had to go translate that wedding. He did a great job. Portuguese is just so interesting. Like, how do you go from being super fluent in a language you spoke for a whole year and a half, you lived in in Portugal for a whole year and a half, and now you just cannot speak it anymore. Like, I can speak it, and the gears were starting to turn again in Portuguese, but it's so difficult to translate into Portuguese after not speaking it for so long. And yeah, Portuguese, I just was not prepared for how difficult it was going to be to get the gears turning again. So, yes, I had to speak a lot of Portuguese this week. And there's some people coming in that will be able to translate way better than me next week, so I can kind of hide my Portuguese talent back in the closet. But also this week, I've been posting a lot more on TikTok and such, even on Instagram stories. And it's so fun. Like, it's so fun to create content, but it's also just a little discouraging. Like, when you see the number of views you get and the number of likes, like, you're like, why am I doing this? It feels awkward. Like, people are probably looking at my posts like, why is she posting and just to get like 15 likes? It feels a little awkward. I'm still trying to find my niche. And it's also really hard because I don't want to post my kids. Like, I want to be able to just not have my kids in my content. But it's funny because I grew up being trained to like only take pictures of like people in your pictures. Like, I remember when I went to Europe at 14, we did so many countries, and my mom was like, please don't just take pictures of like the things around you. Like, take a picture of you with the things around you. And so it's been hard to retrain my brain to take pictures of the things around me. Like, I can't make a good photo dump because I'll go back to my vacation camera roll or all my vacation photos, and I took 0 pictures of the food. I took 0 pictures of the landscape, and all I have are pictures of me and my kids and my husband and family pictures. I just never have enough non-face photos for photo dumps. But yes, I'm just trying to find my niche. I need to get a little bit more into the groove of making content. But I'm having fun. I think that's what it's all about, is just having fun while you're doing it. And so, yes, posting has been a little interesting, but I have been very consistent, at least once a day, sometimes twice a day. And yesterday I actually did 3 times in one day, which is shocking. So I'm going to try 3 times again today. And hopefully the algorithm God's blessed me with something good. Anyway, I should have made this month a low spend month. Lately, I am a serial shopper. I love to shop. But lately, there's nothing that has been catching my eye. There's nothing that I want to buy. And so maybe I should have made this not a low spend month or a no buy month, because nothing is really tempting me to buy. I mean, my budget is probably really happy with me. It's probably really happy that I'm not filling it with tons of random crap that I love to buy on Amazon. And it's funny that not even Amazon, not even all of the places that I like to shop have conned me into buying something. So I should have made this month a low spend month, because nothing has caught my eye. I just haven't had a desire to buy anything. So that's a good thing. I am very happy, but there's something wrong with me, because why don't I want to buy anything lately? Like, why don't I have a goal to buy anything? Anyway, also this week, I told you that I had to schedule a play date, and I did. I scheduled a play date for last week, and it was so much fun. And you know what's funny, and something that no one told me, was that when you schedule one play date, you're going to get more play dates after that. Like, once you start inviting people to things, people want to invite you back. Like, I guess I was always pretty clear on that, but it really occurred to me this last time that, like, I went from inviting some people to play dates to being invited to lots of play dates. So I love that if you just reach out and put dip one little toe in the water, you will get lots more things out of it. So yes, more play dates. It's good, especially now with summer. It's just hard during the school year to do any play dates because my kids are basically in school full time. And then when the kids are not in school, we either are finally getting family time, or there's dance, there's soccer, there's gymnastics, there's a million other things. So, yes, I am so grateful for the summer and the chance to have play dates and spend a lot more time with my kids. This week we also saw the Moana live action movie, which was so beautiful. It is so good. I know that there's so much hate for live action movies. I am not somebody who hates live action. I loved Lion King live action, and people don't really get that. I loved Aladdin live action. So awesome. I loved the new song that was added for Jasmine. It was great. I also loved Nala's new song in the live action Lion King and Mufasa. And I also really liked live action Beauty and the Beast. I'm trying to remember what other live action movies I've seen. Oh, and Mulan. I loved Mulan. And I know that there's so much hate for live action movies, but Moana is such a good one to see. It is very good. It's amazing to see like my Samoan culture on the big screen. Like the last time we saw Samoan culture on the big screen was like Hobbs and Shaw, like that Fast and Furious movie. Like how many times are we going to see people wearing just traditional wear, like traditional Samoan wear on TV? Moana is that time for us to see that. I loved the live action Moana. I loved the new music that they added to it. I just loved the story of Moana. I laughed and I cried and I sang and then I cried some more. I'm just so obsessed. I'm like more obsessed with Moana, especially now that I have a daughter, but more obsessed now than I was when I first watched the original Moana, which was actually after my mission, surprisingly. But growing up Samoan, like I was so lucky to be raised by my Samoan grandparents. I was raised basically like 75% with them, it feels like. I was always with them, and they always taught us about their culture and their language. We participated in different like Samoan days. We went to our family reunions where we learned more about our culture. They tried to teach us the language, but it's kind of difficult to teach a language to kids who are never around that language anyway. But I'm so grateful that I was raised around that and that I get to raise my kids around what I know as Samoan culture. So again, even now I'm raising my kids with going to the Samoan Flag Day things and being a part of the Samoan community, teaching them some of the language, teaching them to dance, and even just teaching them the customs. I also really love like Samoan like mythology. Like I've been researching about like the different islands and what they mean to even the different Polynesian islands. I am so obsessed with my culture, but it's funny because I wasn't always that way. I think one of the ways I rebelled as a teen was that I tried to deny my Samoan culture, and I don't know why I did this. I just wanted to maybe stand out, which is pretty normal for teenagers, but I would just act like I wasn't Samoan. Like I remember even when I was applying for college, I knew it was going to help me like that I had a different culture within me. I am Samoan and Filipino on my mom's side. And I applied for college saying that I'm only Caucasian. Why? I have no idea. I don't know why I did these things. Why did I deny myself of the opportunity to really know my culture? Like, and to really identify with it. I know it's just part of being a teen, and I didn't rebel much as a teenager. I maybe took a couple sips of coffee once. Like, I was not a rebellious teenager at all, but like the one way I did rebel was honestly and sadly was kind of denying my culture. So I hope my kids never feel that way. It's kind of hard too, I will say, that I am mixed. Like, so like when I go to Samoan events, like it's not that I'm just not one of the kids who are fully raised in the Samoan culture or like by parents who are Samoan. So it feels weird to identify with that when I'm not fully that, but also like I'm obviously not fully white. Like I don't look fully white. So it's one of those things that was kind of difficult for me to manage. It almost felt like a maze growing up, trying to like decide who I was and find out who I was. But something about having kids made me say, oh my goodness, like I am someone, like I am these cultures. This is what I was raised in. I didn't know anything else. Like I know my Samoan culture. So if you're listening to this and you've listened to my 5-minute rant about how I was as a teenager, thank you for still listening. But moving on to my obsessed section. This week, we also got to go to the zoo. We have the annual zoo pass, so we go whenever we feel like it. And Saturday, we really wanted to take a good hour out of our day and go and see the new giraffe habitat. There's a new giraffe exhibit. It is so amazing. The giraffes can walk right up close to you now, and you can finally see them at all times. There's 7 giraffes at the zoo, and they're so cute, and they have so much space to run around. And I think eventually you'll be able to feed the giraffes, but the the giraffe exhibit at the zoo is really cool. So if you're in Kansas City, you should definitely try it. Definitely worth a trip. I love the Kansas City Zoo. I know it's not the like #1 zoo in the nation. I do love the Omaha Zoo probably the most, but the Kansas City Zoo is definitely worth it. Also, what I've been obsessed with this week is worrying. I have been worrying constantly. And I wouldn't call myself the most anxious person, but I worry about the dumbest things. Like I wrote all of the things that I was worrying about down so that way I can kind of manage what it was that was really affecting me. Like I was worrying about #1, worrying. Why am I worrying about worrying? That's too much. And then I was worried because I have a concert to go to next week with Dante, and it's at Kauffman Stadium, and the weather report says it's going to rain. So I'm terrified that it's going to rain, that we're going to show up, we're going to sit in the rain for a delayed concert, and then it gets canceled or something like that. Like, I am worrying about something so small. I'm also worried about our rental. There's something came up, and I have these like terrifying thoughts of what we're going to have to do with our rental house, the house that we're renting out. But I mean, why am I worried about that? I have a savings account. We have savings put aside for if anything happens to that house. So why am I worried? I don't know. It makes no sense. I also am worried about whether or not my daughter's pre-K will get the grant and whether or not I'll have to pay, which is weird. Why am I worrying about that? I have prepared for myself to pay the money each week for her to go to this pre-K. So I don't know. I think I'm just being stingy and I really want it to be free. I was also worried that I was pregnant because I'm a few days late. I'm definitely not pregnant. But I've just been worrying so much. I've been obsessed with worrying. There's something going on with my brain. And maybe that's why I don't want to buy anything. Maybe it's because I've been worrying a little too much. I've also been obsessed with travel planning. I am planning this 2-week trip. We are looking at budgets I have a budget that I want to stick with. And we're looking at how we can stay within that budget for our whole trip. And I have been having so much fun, like looking up new things to do, like planning out the costs for going to Catalina Island, which is one of our goals. We're also planning what it will cost to maybe go to Disney. That's like $700 for a family of 4. But also looking at what does Legoland cost? What does Universal Studios Hollywood cost? What does SeaWorld and the San Diego Zoo cost? We're also looking at things to do up in Utah. So what are those things going to cost? So I've been having a lot of fun planning travel. And I know people make a living with planning people's vacations. I don't know if I could do that because I know some people are very picky about what they do, including myself. So I'm not sure if that's 100% what I would do for a living, but if I could do it for a living, I'd probably enjoy it. And then finally, the last thing I've been obsessed with is the Worst Neighbor Ever series and all of the series around it, like Worst Ex Ever, Worst Roommate Ever. And I know I've said before that I don't like like documentaries and I don't like true crime, but for some reason I like these documentaries. And I don't like true crime because it's like so gory and they tell things in a way that doesn't always like give respect to the dead. And there are some really sad stories in Worst Neighbor Ever. In two of the episodes, like a father passes away and they're like literally murdered. So that was tough. But one of the episodes was pretty crazy. There's this girl named Carrie, and she was legit billing her friends for advice. Like her friends would ask her for advice and she would bill them as if she were a lawyer. She's not a lawyer. She would take them to court and then it would get dropped because she's not a lawyer. She can't charge people for advice. So that was a crazy episode. Definitely worth the watch if you are looking for a documentary. I have a couple documentaries I really want to watch. I really want to watch that shipwrecked one. So maybe I'll try and watch it after I record today. I have not been watching a lot of TV, and you'll hear about this when I move into the pop culture section. But next week, I will watch a lot more TV. I've caught up on the podcasts that I've been wanting to listen to. I've also unsubscribed from some of the podcasts that I don't really listen to, or I kind of dread listening to and I skip over anyway, or I barely pay attention anyway. So now that I've been caught up on podcasts, I can get more into audiobooks and more into TV. I just want to consume more of content rather than consuming things that I buy. Kind of funny. Anyway, okay, Taylor Swift was married a week and a half ago. It's been a week and a half. Where are the pictures? Where are the pictures? Why don't we know what her dress looks like yet? Why don't we know what the venue looks like yet? Why don't we know more about what happened? It's time. It's been a week and a half. I have to know. I have to know. Does she owe me these pictures? No. But would I love them? Yes, I would love to see these pictures. Where are they? Where are they, Taylor? Please post them, please. Love Island USA finally finished last night. This is usually the week that I stop watching Love Island. There's something about the last week of the show that I'm just like, meh, there's not much more drama going on. It's just figuring out if they're a match, I guess. But I really did like this week. Skip this if you haven't done Love Island, if you haven't watched through the finale of Love Island USA, because I am going to spoil last night's episode. But I'm so happy that Trinity and Bryce won. Definitely well deserved. Definitely something that I saw coming 4 weeks ago. But I'm so happy that they won. I loved their date that they got. Their final date was the Fijian dancers. Again, talking about my Polynesian culture. I love watching Fijian dances. It's not something that I was really familiar with until I went to the PCC when we went to Hawaii growing up. But yes, I was really impressed that that's what the producers brought in for Bryce and Trinity's date. I really liked all of the dates, but Anaya and Carl got the best date. They got the highest budget date. What was that? A whole fairy tale wedding, a fairy tale book, a memento for her to take home? What? I was actually crying during that one, and the mini movie night that they did where they were playing clips of all of their love. I was actually sobbing. That was so cute. I just love love. It's why I love Love Island. Anyway, going back to what we watched this week. I started to really love TT and Casey, especially during that scavenger hunt thing. They just felt so normal and so authentic in those moments. I love those proposal type events, or anything where they're doing a big grand gesture for the person that they're coupled up with. I love that. But I watched After Sun on Saturday and they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that. They were being kind of whiny and they were kind of taking back what they said. The reason KC wasn't in the finale was because he wasn't being honest with Anaya. He was not being authentic. He would tell her one thing. He would tell her what she wants to hear. Then he'd go to the guys and then he would say something else. He would say that he doesn't want to be coupled up with her. He would say that he doesn't like speaking life into her. He would say these weird, disrespectful things, and that's why he didn't make it he didn't make it to the finale. Was just because he wasn't authentic. If he would have just said to Anaya from the beginning, I want to explore, then Anaya would have looked like the bad guy, which is fine because that would have been her choice. But he didn't do that. He wanted to try and get like the winner's edit, but then he just didn't keep acting like it. Anyway, I don't think he realized what After Sun did to me, because now I don't really care about Casey and TT because I did like them before they left. Anyway, something that I noticed as we were getting closer and closer to the finale was that Kenzie, and I know she's not like a fan favorite, but like I hope she's okay outside of the villa. Like I could see like from the beginning of the show to the end, her light really dimmed. Like I don't know, something about being in that demented villa made her less bubbly and giggly and happy. And that was kind of hard to watch. I mean, to be fair, I don't think her and Dylan are going to last very long. But I can't wait to hear her interview and call her daddy on Wednesday. I was really excited when Alex Cooper posted that that's who she's going to interview. But yes, I hope Kenzie's okay outside of the villa. I hope everything fame-wise goes well for her. Kata's situationship debacle was so funny to me. I mean, I wouldn't have called it a situationship, but I understand like why people do and why Trinity did say that. It was just really funny that was like a sticking point for her. But honestly, in my opinion, Zach does not love Kata, or he's just really insecure about being with her because she is just so gorgeous. Either way, I was kind of shocked that they made it to the finale. Did I vote for them to be in the finale? Yes, unfortunately, because you had to pick 4 people. And so, yes, I voted for them. I love the core 4. The core 4 girls are amazing. But yes, I was shocked that they were in the finale. I was also shocked that Melanie and Sincere were in the finale. Melanie, after family night, it felt like she wasn't fully listening to what her sister was saying about Sincere. It was such a tough watch for me. But a part of me feels like Melanie and Sincere either belong together, or Melanie is way more calculated than we are thinking that she is. Anyway, I love Melanie. I've loved her since the beginning, and I always knew that she was crazy, and maybe that's why I liked her, was because of her craziness. Anyway, last thing. I hate the food challenges. I think I hate the food challenges more than the heart rate challenge. But this last food challenge was actually terrible. I myself was gagging. It could have been partially the parasite or the fear that I was pregnant. But the food challenge was absolutely terrible this year. Season 6's was worse because they were doing like ketchup and mustard down a line. But still, that was pretty bad. Anyway, I watched 90 Day Fiancé. 0 opinions of mine have changed, and that's usually how 90 Day Fiancé goes for me. I'm just happy that Mito and Debbie are no longer on the screen because they were unbearable to watch. They were not a match at all. Mallory probably could have spent a little bit more money on a bidet for Rashid, knowing that a bidet is really important to him. Like $25, like okay. But you probably could have spent a little bit more money on a much nicer one. And I can't believe Thomas and Paula are getting married on a haunted ship. Like, that's so random, but I guess it does make sense for their personalities. I think they're getting married on the Queen Mary or something like that. That's in Long Beach. It looks beautiful, but just the fact that there's ghosts is interesting. And then finally, Marissa definitely needs to be kinder to Edward. He just got to America. He's just learning how to be your fiance, and like living in a place that he's just learning the language, he's just learning the culture. She just is not giving him space to grow and to learn. But it has been fun watching him walk through New York City. It's funny seeing people who have never been to New York City try to navigate it. I love New York City. Haven't been in a long time, but I can imagine that me navigating New York City would not be too hard. I say that now. And I don't know what it would look like if I had kids. Edward didn't have kids, so I don't know why I'm bringing that up. But yes, I just think Marissa needs to take a chill pill and give Edward a second to breathe before she criticizes him again. Finally, we saw Minions versus Monsters. Oh wait, it's actually Minions and Monsters. And it wasn't great. Like, it was definitely not my favorite Minions movie. I'm not like the biggest Minions fan. I know there are people who are like die-hard Minions fans. That's not me. It was like partially funny. Not sure it was worth the $12 that I paid for my kids to go. Actually, $12 is really cheap to go to a movie. So yes, I saw Minions and Monsters and it was all right. Definitely something that you can stream rather than go to the movie theater for. Finally, my to-do list. I need to get a better sleep score. I've been sitting in like the 60s or 70s. I'm talking about my Aura ring, by the way, that gives me a sleep score after every sleep. My sleep debt is at 5 hours, which is a lot for me. I really need to sleep. Maybe I'll take a nice long nap today, but I need to get a better sleep score. I need to take more naps this week. I also need to watch way more TV, which doesn't really correlate very well to taking naps and getting more rest. I have a long list of things I want to watch. I want to watch Love Island UK. I want to watch Not Suitable for Work. I want to maybe watch Little House on the Prairie. We'll see. I want to see $1 Million Nannies. I've heard that's really good. And I really want to see The 5-Star Weekend. Those are all very different genres. But yes, I want to see them all. Also, I need to go grocery shopping. I'm going to try and keep this one under $200. We don't need a lot of groceries, and then in 2 weeks, we'll be gone for 2 weeks. So I'm not going to buy a lot of stuff, just the very basics, like milk and bread and fruit, which won't cost even close to $200, but I'll end up probably buying something else that racks that price up. If I could keep it under $100 though, amazing. Finally, I need to take Carla to Cinderella dance camp. That starts today and tomorrow. She's going to love it. I'm super excited. And I'm also excited to see some of the dance mom friends that I had made before this. I also want to swim way more this week. I want to go to my mom's house and swim a ton and watch more TV and maybe read a book. And then finally, it's 1 month until my 30th birthday. Finally, I'm turning 30. I'm so excited. I have no plans. I have some ideas of what I would do as like a birthday get together with my friends to maybe bring them in, and we'll do like magnet painting so we can make fridge magnets, or maybe making chains or something that could, like a bag chain or a bag clip or a keychain. But yes, I am brainstorming ideas of things I want to do on my 30th. It's on a Saturday. So it's perfect. I can have my birthday and my birthday party on the same day. I sound like a kid planning my birthday party. But anyway, thank you for listening if you've listened this far. I am so grateful for you. I do have a quote I wanted to read for you that I read on Pinterest about worrying because, like I said, I've been worrying constantly. The quote says, "Stop pre-ordering misery. You keep imagining the worst will happen, so you start grieving it early like it will soften the blow later. Stop trying to make sadness a vaccine by trying to build immunity from it. All you are doing is watering your joy down with fear. You're letting a future that may never come steal a piece from a present you have. If the bad thing comes, you'll survive it. But right now, you're surviving something imaginary, and that's not resilience. That's theft of your time." And that's by Karen Salmison. I love that quote. Stop pre-ordering your misery. Stop acting like sadness is a vaccine that you can build immunity from. It's kind of interesting to like think about how worrying is like stealing your joy that you have right now. And I don't know why I worry about things when every single time in my life I have figured it out. I have gotten a solution. I have finished the challenge. Everything has worked out in the end. But there have been so many times where I'm stressed and sick and worrying about something that may not even happen. I'm worrying about something that's gonna be for a much shorter period of time than the actual thing itself. I remember when I was in college, I was stressed even about my mission papers at the time, which is so funny to be worried about now, looking back. And I had a roommate who kept saying, Frankie, everything will work out. It will all work out. And that's something I really need to think about, especially with these random things I've been worrying about. But I am going to work on this. I'm going to try and not water my joy down with fear. And remember that if the bad thing comes, I'll survive it. Right now, I will not survive something imaginary, something that hasn't even happened yet. So that's my overthinking for you today. No more overthinking for me. I really need to get back to watching TV because I keep talking about how I need to watch more TV. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Love you guys. See you next week.